I would personally not play what's his name? Usman Tariq, and I would play Naseem. I would keep
Come on,
Shah.
yeah.
Huh?
Mustafa, we have literally, he is our WMD to use against India in that match. Sort of the allure around him, the lore around him. He has two elbows, he does this, he bows through his legs, he bows behind his ear. I mean, the kind of mystique that's been created for him, usko to khilana hi padega.
It's just the process is more important than the result. That
That
is
is
the
the
thing.
biggest BS ever. It's
No,
all
I
about results.
completely disagree.
डॉक इनको समझाए बच्चों को यार what is this trust the process
No
ये
process.
76ers चल
Just
रहा है
just the process.
30 साल से वो चैंपियनशिप
Said
नहीं जीते
I. You're talking. Don't talk to the 76ers to me. I am a Boston Celtics fan. No matter how.
and they even more bottlers.
I think the reason why we give Saim grace though is because he always has intent. He's never scared, right? He always has that intent to score. Babar at points, especially early on his innings, feels like he's in his own shell.
Welcome to Over and Out with DawnNews English. My name is Sadi Raza here in Dallas, Texas. With me is Hazy Khwaja in the UAE and Mustafa Siddiqui, DawnNews English. We're here to recap day four of the ICC T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka. And today we had Pakistan playing the US, we had New Zealand against the UAE, and we had Netherlands over Namibia. So let's start off with the match that just finished, the Pakistan US. Pakistan lost the toss. They were put into bat. They scored 190 and then managed to restrict the US to 158 for nine. Initial thoughts, gentlemen? I'll start with you, AZ.
Pretty decent performance with the bat. Once again, it was Saibzada Farhan Babar Azam, who's the much maligned Babar Azam. There was a lot of talk that he might get dropped for this game for Fakhar Zaman. That felt absolutely absurd and rightfully so. I think he played a very decent partnership. He played his role. Fair enough, it was slow at the start, but you had that counterbalance with Saibzada Farhan getting a very good score of 70 odd. Saim Ayub, once again, disappointing. We thought he was looking good. Salman Ali Agha, unlucky to be caught at a long leg. That was a fantastic shot. The finishing was a problem. Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab Khan and Fahim Ashraf, this collective, Pakistan need them to finish the innings well in the last 2, 3 overs if they are in there. We need that killer punch. Yes, Fahim Ashraf did it once, so fair play to him. But Nawaz is really struggling with the bat. That is a concern. Shadab was a bit hit and miss, but in the bowling, we were outstanding. Shaheen Shah Afridi's new ball bowling is a concern. He's proving to be quite impotent in the power play so far. Hopefully, it's just a couple of bad games. He took a lot of tap versus the Netherlands. He took a lot of tap today, especially at the hands of a relative unknown called Shubman Ranjane, who took him to the cleaners. He did get him out eventually, but Pakistan will need Shaheen Shafridi on his absolute A game on the 15th. He does tend to bring his A game versus India in the past, as we well know. And if that department is fixed, then I think we've got all the bases covered. I'm not sure why Fahim Ashram did not bowl at all. You should be using him occasionally as a seam bowling option. Otherwise, it just feels a bit one-sided, even though these are spin-heavy tracks. Usman Tariq was outstanding. Shadab was brilliant. Nawaz was frustrating at the start, but he came good, as did Abrar. So in terms of the spin quartet we have going, in fact, we have Saim Ayub as well in there. So Pakistan seemed to be tailor-made for conditions in Sri Lanka. And so far, so good. Fingers crossed. At least we might make it to the Super 8. So that's a massive achievement at this stage.
So let me tease out a few pointers there and throw it to Mustafa. Mustafa,
Yeah.
Easy mentioned Babar, he mentioned Saim, Saim 19 of 17 deliveries. Um, do we give Saim grace compared to Babar because of his ability to turn 19 of 70 into 35 of 21? Um, his innings today, I think in the first seven balls that he faced, he had six dots in that 1-6. Babar, for a long stretch there, didn't have a boundary until finally he got going. And I think that's the role he's been set. Would you tweak anything heading into the next game?
So the thing about Saim, the reason why we give Saim grace, in my opinion, is because it's harder to take singles in the power play, so it's like harder to accumulate runs right there when you're trying to hit. Like not every big hit, not every ball is going to be easy to hit there, and they were bowling pretty decently with the new ball as well. And I think Sabzada Farhan did spectacularly well in the power play. I think the reason why we give Saim grace though is because he always has intent. He's never scared, right? He always has that intent to score. Babar at points, especially early on his innings, feels like he's in his own shell. So when he was like when he started taking that spinner to the cleaners, was it Mohsin or was it the other one, Humpreet,
It
right?
was a combination of the two, but it was definitely Humphreys with the shorter balls that
Yeah, yeah,
he
the shorter
deposited
ball.
for six.
Yeah. So him hitting spin was a very big plus point to me because that is for me the main concern with Babar right now. Can he hit spin? Can he score against spin? And can he? So the first thing was he was able to rotate strike against spin, and then he was able to hit spin later on in his innings, which has been a massive problem with him for the last couple of years. His inability to play spin for the last couple of years has been a very big reason for his drop off, essentially. And so, as AZ said, AZ mentioned that our finishing to a certain extent, like Nawaz hasn't gotten off so far yet, but I do trust him with the bat. Uh, because like he performed well in the Asia Cup, he's been performing well for the last couple of for the last year or so. So I presume he'll get better. But the main thing is that Shadab performed well with the bat. He got like 30 or 30 odd or 15, and then Fahim score basically won you the game won you the game a couple of days ago. So that is the more good thing, I think. So that's those are plus points. I also think I don't think Shaheen's new ball bowling was that bad either. I think his figures are much they tell a very different story than if you watched it. I think he actually bowled pretty well. He almost got he swung the first ball so heavily that like it landed outside off, was going towards fourth stump, but when it landed sorry, it landed outside leg, it was going towards fourth, fifth stump, and then it swung back in that it could have missed the leg stump. Like I actually do think he bowled well with the new ball today. I think he was just a bit unlucky, and like Shaheen, as he has shown in a lot of tournaments, that it takes him a couple of games to get into series and get into tournaments. And I do think by the time I think by India or at worst by the Super 8s, he'll be fine and we will be full and firing. And Saim as well, I don't think he'll be, I think he'll be fine. Like Saim's always been that type of player who will go off once every 4 innings and basically win you a game by himself. So I still have belief in Saim. And so that's where I stand.
Six fifties in 61 matches, Mustafa. Where are these mythical single-handed victories you're talking about? It's all in your mind, bro. It doesn't exist.
Well, that's why I asked the question
He's the
about
most overhyped and overvalued
why do
player,
we give
man.
him
It's
grace?
But
But let
matlab, considering his value and all the aesthetics and all the everything, Saim Ayub is the biggest underperformer in this team. Forget about Babar, Shaheen Shah, whatever, who you want to name. Even Saibzada Farhan, who's very annoying to watch personally. Block, slog, block, slog, block, slog. It works for him, and fair enough, we can bear that. But Saim Ayub, because he's chipping in with the ball, we let it slide. And because, like you mentioned, Mustafa, he has that intent, so to speak. That is why he gets a massive leeway. But he's not been there, man. And you saw in the Asia Cup the duck farm that he was establishing. Fair enough, if he comes good in a big game, he's good on true wickets against Australia. Fair enough, that is one team that he manages to score heavily against. But what you're talking about, the Saim Ayub in reality, and the one you're talking about is pure science fiction, my friend.
let's let's park that
Don't
for
go on
now.
the PSL price tag.
But
That is the biggest fake news.
I want to ask you about the construction of the first innings, and we talked about this yesterday, Mustafa,
Mm.
that
hmm,
the 60-60-60.
hmm.
So we were under par in the power play. We had 56 for two at the end of the power play. I would say, were under par in your death overs. You didn't perform as well. And to use an NFL analogy, you left points on the board.
Hmm.
When you are batting first, and especially in the Super 8s and against India, against better teams, you cannot afford to leave points on the board in these big games against the big teams. To me, we still do that too often to my liking. How do we fix that issue of leaving points on the board in our batting in the first innings.
Sir, this is the conundrum that Pakistan cricket has been trying to fix since its inception. I have just accepted that our batting will always be some subpar in some type of way, no matter what. And this is still, I still think the way your batting lineup is set up is probably in terms of roles, right, that you have in the batting lineup, where you have like you have two hot bats, hot batsmen starting up front. Then you also have a somewhat spin masher at three, one anchor at four, another hitter at five. Then you have three all rounders who all are capable of hitting out. I think that construction of the batting order is probably your most conducive to getting away with it, getting away from leaving points on the board essentially. But it's Pakistan cricket. We will never escape us being a much better bowling team than we are a batting team.
Coming to the bowling, do you play a Shaheen against India? I know what Izzy is going to say because to him, his view
Kalandar
is
hai.
if you remove Shaheen, you remove Babar. You may as well remove the green and the moon and the star and
Seriously.
just wave the white flag that's left. But I mean, I don't remember the last good performance Shaheen had against India apart from the 2021 T20 World Cup in the UAE where he took those wickets of KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma. And he seems to in that first over, India seems to do a very good job of targeting him. Inevitably there'll be a wide, there'll be a couple of looseners, and they'll end up with 12 or 13 off his first over. And then you're already behind the eight ball as far as runs on the board,
Yeah.
whether they're batting first or they're chasing. Given that this game is going to be in Sri Lanka, could there be an argument to drop Shine for someone with a little bit more control?
So you're saying basically play Naseem instead. Essentially, that's what you're saying.
I am saying I leave it up to you who to replace him with, but make that decision to replace him.
Okay, so the idea is the two fast bowlers who did not play today is Salman Mirza and Naseem Shah. I do not care what the stats say. I just think Naseem Shah and Shaheen are just more talented, and I will always trust those two more than I will trust Salman Mirza, especially against a talented, probably the most talented team in the world today. So it's a question of those two. And in an ideal world, I would play both, but since it's such spin heavy wickets, and since you already have Fahim to a certain extent, you don't need it so much. I would personally not play what's his name, Usman Tariq, and I would play Naseem. I would keep
Come on,
Shah.
yeah.
Huh?
Mustafa, we have literally, he is our WMD to use against India in that match. Sort of the allure around him, the lore around him. He has two elbows, he does this, he bows through his legs, he bows behind his ear. I mean, the kind of mystique that's been created for him, usko to khilana hi padega,
So
bhai. Kya ho
what
gaya?
would you do
Plus,
then,
he has that
Easy?
horrible bandana, that
What
ugly
would you
fuchsia
do?
color, whatever it is, he has to play.
Easy, what would you do? Unchanged team going into India?
There is certainly an argument for Naseem Shah because he has a much better economy rate in T20Is. I will give you that. And Salman Mirza has been outstanding, man. What has that guy done wrong? He picked up 3 wickets in the previous match. He has that off-pace delivery. He has that very deceptive action.
And that's my
Ideally,
point, is that you need
he
someone with
should
a
be
little bit
playing
more
on merit.
control
He
than
should be in the
Shaheen.
11, but it's all about, the lore and of course the what do you call the CV that he doesn't quite bring to the table that Shaheen Shah does. And Doc, I just wanted to point out that Shaheen Shah, you will remember that washed off game in the Asia Cup in 2023. He picked up Rohit Sharma, bowled through the gate. He got Virat Kohli out as well. So he deserves that credit. He got Rohit Sharma out
It didn't
in
count though, because
2024 as
that game
well
was
at
washed
square
out.
leg. So it was washed out, but of course we perhaps were not going to win that game in the first place. 260 was a massive score on that wicket. But the point is that he still had that success consistently, and he clean bowled Rohit Sharma in the 2025 Champions Trophy as well. Of course, there is no more Rohit Sharma. I think Abhishek Sharma is due. Unfortunately, gone for a golden duck in the previous game, so does seem to have our number. But India is a bit shaky, and I think it's too late to look for those big changes now. You can't drop Shaheen Shafri. What is the message you're sending to the opposition if you drop your spearhead? It's a psychological game with India more than anything on the field.
I think it's the same reason why as much as I want to drop Babar, I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can. I
Come
don't
on,
think.
man. Don't be serious, man. Come on, you can't do it now.
I'm being
He
very.
made two good. Dekho, he made two good, very useful partnerships with Sahibzada Farhan in the first game. Oh, okay, they fell at the wrong stage, but today that partnership is what won us the game. That partnership he had with Farhan
That part.
when
Oh,
they
no,
kept up that tempo. We were 100 for 12, and look, we got 190 in 8 overs. Yeah, what more do
no, no,
you want?
no. I think he was performing well today. I do not
He
disagree
was
with that.
good.
He was good.
Hmm.
I do not disagree with that. I am just looking at his recent, like his, last 2 3 years of performances, right? And I get my opinion will of Bab. I think Babar is arguably our most talented batsman ever. He is the first name on the team sheet on in ODIs. He is the first name on the team sheet in tests. Okay, we all in agreement with that. That's what I do think of him. I just think he's not a T20 player. T20
No, but
player.
the thing is, you don't have anybody to bat in the middle order. It's all,
You have Khwaja
if
Nafe. You could easily play Khwaja Nafe. I
yeah,
actually
Khwaja Naf, and
no
be
the
serious. Yeah.
no no the only thing
He's
I
not a two down batter either. He's a power play specialist. He's that flashy player.
no.
He's basically a right-handed Simon Ayub, but with much less gravitas. And or देखा नहीं क्या catch छोड़ा आज man. That was ridiculous. That alone should get him cut from the 15 man. Simple catch है तुम wicket keeper हो. Catch नहीं पकड़ सकते square leg पे यार हद है.
Okay, so
Come on, man.
if it was my choice, okay, this is going to be.
You're playing. You're doing the equivalent of fantasy football here right now. Yeah,
I'm
just
very
plug
much
in.
doing fantasy football right now, but like I am doing what I am. Um, I would actually keep Babar in the team. If there was one change I was gonna make, I would probably change Khwaja Nafe for Smart.
And you know what the hilarious thing is, because there's so much talk about his strike rate, he's going to go overly intentful against the likes of Varun or Akshar Patel, and he'll probably get out early in the first place. So the point will be moot. That he didn't
Yeah,
waste time, he got
which
out.
is fine. I actually prefer that. If like I would much prefer batsmen getting out early than taking
ये
a
कहने
ball.
वाली बातें हैं, ये हमने
ये
एशिया कप
कहनी
में भी
वाली
देख लिया था.
ये कहनी वाली बातें नहीं है. This as much as you as much as I love Babar, you cannot deny this man has made us lose about two ICC
And
T20 World Cups.
and these sorts, won you how many games in the Asia Cup?
तो
Coming in
भाई
with the intent at number 4. क्या दिया
भाई
उन्होंने?
it's the process is more important than the result. That
That
is the
is the
thing.
biggest BS ever.
I
It's
know
all
I
about results.
completely disagree.
डॉक इनको समझाए बच्चों को यार what is this trust the process.
No
ये
process,
76ers चल
just
रहा है.
just the process.
30 साल से वो चैंपियनशिप
Said
नहीं जीते.
I. You're talking. Don't talk to the 76ers to me. I am a Boston Celtics fan. हम no matter how.
And they're even more bottlers.
क्या bottlers? We won a championship. आपकी team कौन सी? What team do you have?
I
So
just go
let's
wherever
let's get
LeBron
back on
goes.
track. But
हाँ यही तो
so
problem है.
let's try and get this back on track. So from what I'm hearing
It's
from
off the
English
rails and it fell
is
over.
an unchanged team heading into India. The one change
Team
I
नहीं
would
change
actually,
होती डॉक.
yeah.
You're
So
on a winning streak right now.
the one change I would make was actually I'd drop Shaheen for Naseem. To me,
You're a hard numbers man ना आप. You're hard to please. And
he's a
it
little
makes
bit more
sense.
provides a little bit more control. He's less likely to fly off the handle against India, and you're much more likely to get a
He's a
little bit more
slightly
control.
better death bowler as well. Like that's like
Correct.
yeah, like
That's what I would do is do that. You have to play an almost perfect game to beat them. And not that it matters. I think beating India makes no difference to your ability to qualify for the Super 8, but it does make a massive psychological difference to this team. Because
Oh, if we
chances are
beat India, then we're
correct. Chances are you have to
oh,
beat them in the semis or in the final if you want to win the whole thing.
yeah,
So
you have to beat India at least once. Like
at least once.
yeah, at
Correct.
least once. At least once. Like it's you Australia's never not always going to do you a favor, man. Like it's as simple as that. Like Australia's always not always going to do you a favor.
England.
Yeah, like you just have to like it is a demon that you have to slay in
And
mostly
and then
in most
coming to Babar, I just think Babar against India, he goes into a shell of timidity and he succumbs to the pressure. And maybe a young player who doesn't have the years of baggage might be better. I don't think that's an option because I don't think that the Mike Hessen and
They
company
literally
have.
don't have that kind of guy in
Correct.
the
I
squad.
don't think they have the guts to make a big call like that before this game, especially with all the drama surrounding that game. So I think it's a moot
Dog,
point.
did you honestly expect Haris Rauf not to be in the World Cup squad? That was a big call.
That was a big call. That
So
was a
that was
very
a
good.
big call.
That was a very big call.
But it's they were able to make that call because of the of Mirza's basically showing up as a potential option, and of course Fahim Ashraf as well. Let's move on to the New Zealand against the UAE. A lot of us picked them as a dark horse. They destroyed the UAE, put up a pretty good score, 173, and New Zealand chased it down basically with the loss of no wickets. Seifert and Finn Allen with beautiful innings, constructed innings.
That guy,
Both of
man,
them
he
90
grinds
odd
my
runs
gears like
of
anything.
around 40, 50 odd deliveries. Really played well. Let's talk about the Kiwis today.
The problem was that the UAE's tactics, for even though they put up a good score, was completely all wrong. They should have always looked to chase. Their only formula of success against these established teams is to bowl first. By some miracle, you have a bit of skill in your bowling. If you contain them to around 150, 160, 170 even, and then you hope that Mohammad Wasim comes off, Ali Shan Sharafu comes off. Well, they did come off, but batting first, it was 170 was never going to be enough. Even literally, Wasim came off the field. They had an immediate interview with him. He's like, "We are 20 runs short." And everybody knew we were 20 runs short. And then they absolutely smoked them to all parts. Flat bed wicket in Chepauk. It's an early afternoon game. No dew, no nothing. सीधा सीधा ball है उन्होंने मार धाड़ करके they put them aside in just 15 overs. So that was a tactical error from the UAE. Maybe a bit defensive because they've been failing bowling first in the last few games, and it was always on the cards. And that man, Tim Seifert and Finn Allen, unbelievable combo in the Black Caps. Like Doc mentioned, Mustafa are looking very, very imperious at the moment in this World
Right
Cup.
now, they look like the most dangerous team in the tournament. Like very, like they put look.
Their bowling, their seam bowling looks a bit.
They still have Henry, right? And this, like Ferguson did get taken to the cleaners of.
Henry,
Yeah, Henry.
it's
Yeah,
functional. I would say it's functional to
they
their.
they they
Their
will.
bowling is iffy, but they will always have a chance at chasing. I think if they bat first, I don't see them doing as well.
Hmm.
That would actually be interesting. That would honestly be interesting. If you get the likes of Seifert early, Finn Allen, हमें पता है चलाऊ player है, he'll give you a chance or two. But then they have Mitchell in the heart of their middle order. He's a fantastic player. Glenn Phillips is due as well. So very solid all-round unit. They haven't had to tinker with the spin options. I believe Bracewell has been ruled out of the tournament. Wanindu Hasaranga has been ruled out of the tournament. So
He's
two
out.
key spinners.
He's out.
One interesting thing I read on Twitter, I don't want to mention the name of the handle, but they're pretty prominent in cricket Twitter. They said that
Ah,
Taranga is gone.
And then the last match, of course, was the Netherlands beating Namibia, which wasn't unexpected. This is a decent team. I don't think they'll pull off a scalp. I don't think they'll beat India. They've
Mm.
already lost to Pakistan, but I think they could come third in this group.
Yeah, pretty professional performance from the Dutch. They did well to keep Namibia in check, and then Bas de Leede with a brilliant performance, couple of wickets, well-made 50 as well. They have some order issues with the top order, Max O'Dowd and Leavitt. Even though Leavitt played well today, he holed out when he was looking good. Max O'Dowd has not been giving runs, but if the top order finds its form, then maybe they have an outside chance of rolling over a big fish. But you expected the Dutch to win, and they did exactly that. The problem with Namibia is their batting is very, very shallow. They don't have anybody beyond JJ Smith at number five, and even he is more of a dasher, more of a Tim David kind of player. And beyond that, they don't have any batting depth whatsoever. And of course, David Weezer retiring and hanging up his boots has been a massive loss for them. But they fought hard, but it was expected that the Dutchmen would win, and they did exactly that.
I
So
also.
Mustafa, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I just think that like I kind of want the Netherlands to lose to India because I just prefer. I think the group that if we're second in the second, I think I like that group a bit more than like the
Those
other
are
group.
already locked in. It doesn't matter what position you come in the group.
Does it not?
It doesn't matter. We covered this in the preview.
This is the absurdity of the
They've
ICC that will
already
never
locked
change.
in who plays what.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
So
what would our Super 8 group be, Sir Doc?
Super 8 groups are India, Australia, West Indies, and South Africa, England, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I say
Oh,
And
I
then
would very
that's
like
gonna
our
be
chances in
spicy
that.
meatball.
yeah,
I would very much take
they're
our
already
chances.
locked in. It doesn't
We'd roll
matter.
over all of those teams
Yeah,
in
very
Sri
easy.
Lanka.
Especially
Come
without
on.
Hasaranga in Sri Lanka.
वो होता भी तो क्या उन्होंने कर लेना था
Yeah,
बैटिंग ही
ये भी सही
बैटिंग
बात
ही
है.
नहीं है उनके पास Mishara and these guys they're not gonna do anything. Come
Yeah,
on.
but like,
So, Mustafa, then tomorrow, England, West Indies, Afghanistan, South
Oh,
Africa, and
that's gonna be
Australia,
good.
Ireland. Your thoughts, quick thoughts on those three games?
England West Indies is so fun because they're both explosive but flawed teams, and that's like my most fun I can have when you have good firepower and obviously excellence, but you can obviously have flaws in the teams. That's like when you have two of those, it's the most fun to watch them together.
And the Windies always raise their game against the old enemy, that is the English. So वो जो एक cutting edge चाहिए होता है ना for this kind of encounter. And England, we've seen they have their frailties in their bowling. Nepal almost rolled them over, should have rolled them over. So that's going to be a stunning game. South Africa, Afghanistan. I think Afghanistan are badly demoralized after that loss to New Zealand when their bowling became completely unstuck. And I think it's going to be a tough game. Once again, if Afghanistan chase, they have a good chance. I always believe when you have lesser firepower in your batting, then you should look to chase. There is no point trying to bat first. You get to a middling score of 140, 155. South Africans 1 minute में आपको खा जाएंगे. Afghanistan need to look to chase. And what is the middle game? It's Australia, Ireland. Well, you never know. Irish spinners are not too bad. They have some firepower in their batting, and this Aussie side, it's hard to make sense of it apart from Head and Marsh up top. They have a lot of middling players in the middle order, some aging players like Maxwell,
A lot
and
of
of course
all-rounders.
Stoinis.
It's
So,
the mo-
it's not looking good.
it's probably the weakest Australian team I have seen being sent to a ICC event in a long
Yeah. In
in
the
a
mid 2010s, they had some pretty
That
crappy teams.
jinx right there is why they'll win
that
right
exactly.
now.
I
Plus,
was
they're
just
wearing green, man. What's with the dark green? It looks so matlab, trashy on them.
yeah,
There is no aura about that dark green at all, man.
yeah.
Come on.
No, but so it was it's Ireland. Yeah, I think that's fine. The other game was South Africa Afghanistan, right?
The likes of Marsh or Head कोई ना कोई मार देगा ऊपर से
Ah,
फिर वो काम खत्म हो जाएगा.
so no, with Afghanistan South Africa, I do think this does determine who comes out of the group.
Of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah. So if like because there's a highly like I highly think that like New Zealand's gonna win all their games. I think they're gonna take care of South Africa very easily, just like how they took care of Afghanistan. So this comes it depends. I don't think South Africa's played a game yet, right?
They won against
They
what's it called?
they won the other day.
The minnow team in the group.
Yeah,
Canada.
Yeah, yes, they were.
correct.
Oh yeah, that was a very
200 मारे
comprehensive.
थे.
That was yes, we talked about this. They had a very comprehensive win against Canada. With
It's the highest score so far in the World Cup.
yeah, because
Mm.
Markham. So because of that confidence and also because Markham got into the runs as well, and their batting became less de Kock and Brevis dependent. I would think that South Africa probably takes it tomorrow. But I do think this determines basically who gets out of the group.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. Based on the conversations today, I think we should probably do a separate India-Pakistan preview
Oh, that's gonna be wild.
Yeah, that's gonna be a.
to discuss all the permutations and
India are playing
combinations.
before the game though, right? Or is
They
it
are.
straight to this?
They're playing on Thursday, I believe. So it's interesting. AZ, very establishments. Babar, Shaheen. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the good times
Status
going.
quo for life.
Mustafa, of course, wants to change everything.
I
AZ
don't
is
want to.
definitely
I don't want
AZ
to
is
change anything.
definitely
Actually सामने आती है ना फिर पता लग जाता है.
AZ is
Uh,
definitely kicked the field goal, and Mustafa is going for it on fourth down.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I am always a
But the
4th and
problem
1
is they're
guy.
4th and 4, not 4th and 1.
देखो,
Correct.
see the Patriots should have gone at 4th and 3 in the third quarter, and then we could have won. We
When
उससे
didn't
क्या
you
हो जाना था?
when you
15 रन stack हुआ है.
when you have a basically an open gate as your left tackle, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Seriously.
Okay.
All right, gents, we'll do it again tomorrow. Thank you. This is Dawn News over
Thank
and
you.
out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.